Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Price List Update Summary video series brought to you by Actionable Insights. You've got Harrison here, you've got Whatley there, and you've got Stone there, and we're here to talk about the new line items that were added to the Xactimate Price List in January 2024. What is up, Whatley? What is up, Stone? We've got 13 new line items to discuss today. We are also only a few weeks away from one of the biggest conferences of the year. Actionable is sponsoring. We are speaking. And if you don't have your ticket yet, you should join us at Elevate. This is Verisk conference that they host in Salt Lake City every year. We'll be there through February 12th through the 15th. We've got a big presentation on Xactware and the actionable rules and everything that we've been doing with our profile and our live estimating guidance. So if you do not have a ticket yet or a flight reservation, join us in Salt Lake City. And say hi. We love it. I mean, Whatley, you and I especially have been flying around at conferences for the last 6, 7, 8 years together, and it's always a grand time. And you and I especially love the Elevate conference. So hopefully we get to see many of you there and get to interact with you. If you're really curious about all the things we've been doing with the Actionable profile and Xactware, we will be in the Solutions Gallery, and you can come take a demo and check out everything that we're doing. And we can answer all your questions in person, which is very nice. In the meantime, you guys are all here. Okay, we're leaving that one in. That was fun.
I tried to hold it back.
No, it's okay.
I thought by force of will.
The excitement
you never
burst
know.
forth.
You never know what sounds are going to come out
Whatley
in the middle of a
enters the
recording,
chat.
right? So fun stuff. Okay, now many of you watching this video are here for the line items. So let's jump into what new line items were added to the Xactimate price list and how are we supposed to use them. New line items. I'm going to pull this up and we're going to start with 6 new line items in the WTR water remediation category. Now, these are Dry 1 CF, Dry 2 CF, Dry 3 CF. These are new bid items, so there's a $0 price attached to them for structural drying by cubic feet. Now, every time I try to check out the new line items, I always try to hold off taking a look at the changes. But these 6 new line items are very much related to 6 existing line items that we've had around WTR Dry 1, Dry 2, Dry 3, which have had some changes to them. So we'll talk about those in the changes section. But what is most important to recognize here in the new line items, there are 6 new line items that are bid items that should you be doing structural drying by cubic feet and choose to invoice for your work in that method, you now have 6 line items, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and some climate control related bid items to work with. Any questions there, gentlemen? Pretty straightforward, right? 6 bid items, good to go. Okay, next we have 4 new line items regarding sampling and testing. These are lead per sample fees and combined testing fees. So one of the things, Stone, that we were looking at here is, hey, they've got these new line items specifically for combined test fees. And if we look at it, there's a lot of language here. But it says this line item, combined test fee, full service survey base fee, is primarily for the testing company's base fee for a full service survey of more than one substance at a time. So that could be lead, that could also be asbestos. And so if you're testing for more than one thing in these tests, this would be a combined test fee, base fee. It includes the time to travel to the home, inspect, take samples, analyze, and report findings, but it does not include any per sample fees. And that is confirmed up here, sample charges. What does it exclude? If you're trying to charge for the individual, so you charge for the base fee, then you need to charge for each sample that is being tested. And so if you're charging for the individual samples, you would use this line item, fee ASBTPS, or the new line item here, fee lead PS, the per sample lead test fee, in conjunction with the base fees. Now, why does this matter? I'm going to quickly jump to the line item changes for what changed. And you'll see we had existing line items for fee lead, HMR lead, and these were full service lead surveys, base fees for just testing for lead. Now we have new line items specific to combined testing. We're testing for more than one things. And we have the per sample lead test fees, as well as we already had the asbestos per sample test fees. So essentially we have a new combined test line item, and we have new line items to charge for the individual lead test samples that are performed in our industry. Stone, what are your thoughts on these 4 new line items?
I think it fits well. If you're in a mitigation environment and you're doing demolition, typically you need to check for asbestos containing materials and lead containing materials, and that may involve multiple types of building material. You've got drywall, you've got trim, you've got window sills. It fits.
And Wally, I feel like this shows is an indication of the pricing department identifying what are people doing in today's world? Are they just testing for lead? Are they just testing for asbestos? No. What is more common are these combined tests to be testing everything at once. And so these new line items reflect those initiatives to make sure that the price list matches the work that's being performed in the field.
Yeah, historically, people didn't use Xactimate to bill for environmental tasks, be it testing or even the performance and mitigation in the field. And they have made outsized efforts over the last 3 or 4 years to include a lot of line items that create space for both the environmental testing company and the environmental abatement contractors to bill and Xactimate. And this is an expression of it.
Yep.
Well said. Lastly, we have 3 new line items in the SPE category. Not a category I see a lot of these days, but modular barbecue grill islands. If you have any of those come up in your claims, you now have a line item for a modular barbecue grill island. Stone, you're in the Midwest. Are these common out there?
Absolutely. Outdoor kitchens are becoming more and more popular in the Midwest. Less so right now. We're at 7 degrees in Indiana. We're trying to catch up with you SoCal guys.
Shaka bra. All right. That is the 13 new line items that were added to the Xactimate price list in January 2024. Let's now check out the changes. Checking out the changes. All right, I'm going to open up the line item changes room here, and I'm going to pop this over to the right side. For those of you that are new to this video series, on the left, we have last month's price list, last month's line items and information. On the right, we have this month's price list and all the new line items, the updates to them. So first off, let's start with yield and supporting event adjustments. Anytime there's a change to a yield, that means there's a change to a price. There's an inverse relationship that we've talked about. When something becomes easier to do and productivity goes up, the price of it generally goes down. When something becomes harder to do and yield goes down, price goes up. So taking a look briefly here, and if you're not used to looking at yields, a reminder of my favorite button in Xactimate. It's the unit price tab here, and then this I for information button right here allows me to pull up additional information around the pricing of these line items. In this drop-down box allows me to take a look at, there's the same components, but something's changed, and I can hit edit on those particular components and take a look at, hey, what happened here? The direct yield used to be they could do 453 square feet of mulch in an hour. That yield went down to 380 square feet per hour. If yield goes down, price goes up, and that is reflected here in our San Diego price list. It used to be around 62 cents a square foot, and now it's closer to 72 cents a square foot. So, mulching's not the most common thing that we see in claims in Xactimate, but hopefully you enjoyed a little breakdown of, hey, how do we get to all these numbers, or what do all these numbers actually mean when we're trying to put together an estimate and settle a claim? All right. We've beaten up these line items enough. You'll see these dry 1, dry 2, dry 3 line items. These existed previously in the WTR category. They were previously said drying by cubic feet. So the existing line items have changed to straight up be structural drying by square feet. And a reminder that the new January line items, the ones that say dry 4 CF, are the new cubic feet line items if you're trying to charge water drying in a class environment via a bid item via those new line items.
So, and I'm imagining some rules around those structural drying line items such that if the variable is, say, F for square feet and it's a cubic foot line item and it's a starts within that cat, that we would throw an exception and advise the user to update the calculation because this line item has actually changed. It's very rare that happened. So I think it's wise to guide our user base, those using the actionable profile, to better outcomes. Harrison, in a similar vein, I think this full service charge for testing should be commonly augmented with either one or more of either the asbestos per survey or lead per survey. That seems like a good rule.
I can tell you right now, if you are using the actionable profile, as you guys can see, we are creating new alerts every month as the line items change. as line items are added. So if you want the best up-to-date estimating guidance that you can have, just write your estimates in the actionable profile, and we'll make sure alerts pop up that tell you, hey, you forgot about this, don't forget this, or hey, you made a mistake here, don't make this mistake, right? That's the goal of our estimating guidance, to make sure that your estimates are the best they can possibly be the first time around. All right. That's the changes to the existing line items. We beat up the lead test fees as a part of the new line items. So one of those months, guys, when the new line items really do impact the changes to the existing line items. Like, the changes are all related. So fairly quick and efficient breakdown of the new line items and the changes to the existing line items in January 2024. Let's jump to our last section where we go forward to the future. Forward to the future. Every month, Xactimate gives us a little preview of, hey, what might be coming in the future? What new line items might we see in the coming months of 2024? We have seen this previously. Items for cured in place pipe lining might be coming, but we have some new ones here. Items for detaching a garbage disposer in the WTR category. So that's interesting. That's something, Whatley, you and I have talked about for years. It's often a water tech doing those services in some form. It's not necessarily a professional plumber coming out on site, right? So that's interesting that that's potentially in the works here.
Yeah, Stone, have a look at the garbage disposer insight sheet and see if that warrants an update. And
absolutely,
this lay flat ducking, this is interesting. So that's been in the WTR category historically. Now they're adding it in HMR. I'm confident there's a collection of 2 or 3 rules that point to a cross category inclusion that no longer need to. Meaning we can now map HMR line items to HMR line items, which is our preferred methodology in terms of our algorithmic rules.
It's nice to keep line items in the same category when it's reasonable and possible to do so.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, gentlemen. No set of movements yet, Stone, because those new line items and changes aren't here yet. But as you can see, we are already on what the future might look like in the Xactimate price list. All right. Thank you for all of you, the insiders, for following, watching this video series. Xactimate Ninjas is up to 22,000 members on Facebook. So if you want to learn more about Xactimate, come join us in our Facebook group. Our YouTube channel is over 2,000 followers and subscribers. Thank you. Like, every time we say, please like, subscribe, hit the button, the little animation, all this stuff really does help us reach more people. And when we reach more people, we help the industry better understand line items, Xactimate, and how we can all do it better to fall in love with our jobs again. In the meantime, good luck settling all those claims out there.
Keep building.
Keep learning and growing.